Great to see you today.
Good to see you, Tyler. How are you?
I'm excellent. Yeah, I'm really enjoying the start to your class, Harmonious Strength Training, and looking forward to hearing more from you.
Yeah, Harmonious Strength Training is kind of still a novel approach to strength training and physical education in general, but it's something that I hope is going to pick up, and we'll develop a whole movement of people who want to learn how to become not only stronger on the outside, but also experience inner strength, if you know what I mean.
For sure. I mean, I have been like basically being turned on from the inside out, or you could say activated, with muscles turning on and adjusting, becoming like more active, and also relaxing and learning how to release tension through this. So I've been really impressed so far.
Isn't it interesting how you can become more relaxed even though you are doing strength training? Most people, when they lift weights or use exercise machines, they end up being more tense after working out. And what we learn is how to become actually more relaxed after working out, because who wants to hold on to excessive tension that creates energy blockages and wreaks havoc in our health?
Right. I mean, I have like all kinds of weights at my house. I have freeform weights, I have bands, I have different pulleys and machines, and I love playing with different toys for strength. And what I love about this system that you developed is that I can adjust on the fly. I can make it more intense or less intense. I can do it when I'm walking around in my day, on the dance floor, wherever I am, and feel stronger and more alive and more active. And yeah, because it's a game changer. It's so simple, but like, what a powerful technique.
And it's a cool thing that you can do it on a dance floor, you can do it in the kitchen floor, you can do it in the bedroom, you can do it in the shower. You don't have to go to the gym. You basically cut out all the time that you would need to take to travel to the gym, if there is a gym somewhere available. Of course, during the pandemic, the gyms were closed, so that became kind of an imperative thing to learn how to train without having to go to the gym. But people were investing in all types of weights and Bowflexes and all types of other equipment. None of it is actually necessary if we just figure out how to use self-resistance.
Right, self-resistance, exactly. I mean, what's the history? What's the history of this? How did it come about? I mean, you have a long lineage of teaching Qigong, and I'm just kind of curious some of the background on it.
Yeah, well, it goes all the way back to the Shambhala kingdom, a legendary kingdom of enlightened kings and enlightened people who purportedly lived somewhere in Tibet at that time, way back hundreds, maybe even thousands of years ago. It's really not easy to pinpoint specific historical details of Shambhala because it's shrouded in mystery, but the historical accounts and the legends of Shambhala basically talk about Shambhala warriors. Those were pretty tough guys, and perhaps gals, who were protecting that kingdom. I mean, it was way high up in the mountains, the roof of the world. So probably not a lot of invaders wanted to invade it because it's just too high up in the mountains. The horses cannot breathe. The people start feeling mountain sickness, and basically they're like, we don't want to invade this country. It's too much trouble. But even those who were already adapted to high altitudes would have to deal with those Shambhala warriors who were exceptionally tough and at the same time also peaceful. Like they never invaded any other neighboring countries.
Right.
What they were doing was essentially developing themselves into formidable warriors using some of the practices that we are doing nowadays, such as harmonious strength training, that enable them to develop amazing strength without lifting any weights and having no exercise machines. Right. There were no exercise machines back then. Even nowadays, if you go to most Shaolin temples, they don't have the gym. But They may lift some heavy things, obviously, just in the course of the day, but most of the Shaolin monks actually train using some of the principles, again, that come from the Shambhala warrior tradition of training. So what distinguishes Shaolin monks, for example, from most other Buddhist monks? Well, they kick ass. Most Buddhist monks are really peaceful folk. The Shaolin monks actually train in martial arts, and they also train to become really strong. One of the things that is known, the Shaolin is known for, is exactly that, the ability for people to develop inner strength as well as outer strength. And so there are some Qigong practices, Yi Jin Jing, and other techniques, iron shirt. Yeah, you can develop iron shirt purportedly so that you can even withstand some powerful punches and kicks. Maybe not knives. That may be slightly exaggerated. It's certainly not bullets. During the Boxer Rebellion in China, there were a lot of enthusiasts who said, oh, we're going to use our iron shirt against the British Army's bullets. Well, none of them lived very long. But what we're learning is how to develop these kind of abilities that have been tested by time, that have been really beneficial to many generations of Shaolin monks and way before that, the Shambhala warriors. And I hope that many generations of our practitioners these days and from this point on will be able to benefit from them as well.
Awesome. Yeah, so we've just started, right? We've got a 12-week course going and just had our first meeting, and we're meeting online and they're recorded, right? So you can, if I can't make a Saturday, I can, just tap into the recording.
Yes. So the marvels of modern technology are definitely helping us spread the good news about harmonious strength training to people living all over the world. We have people from Japan, we have people from Europe, even from the United Arab Emirates, Dubai, maybe even from India. So basically, kind of like the entire world is being covered with just one simple program. One of the things that, in addition to the live classes, we also have recorded training sessions. So those lessons basically go through similar content as what we cover in live class. It's just live class kind of gives you a little bit more sense of participation in the community, camaraderie, and plus I can also provide some clarifications or answer any questions if they arise.
Right, because you can see us moving and give some pointers and stuff. Yeah, for sure. It's been really helpful.
Yeah, unfortunately, some folks didn't turn the cameras on, so I will have to encourage them to turn the webcams on so that I can see them. Otherwise, I can't provide any feedback.
Of course.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, the secret's out. It's I can't believe that more people don't know about this, or I haven't heard about, using the antagonist muscles, the opposite side of, your own muscles to provide resistance and strength, and then being able to adjust that on the fly. It's incredible. And you're the only person I've met, I've gone through many teachers who have been teaching this. And so that's why I agreed to get on this call with you and help spread the word, because I think more people need to know how to turn on their body, how to use it, gain strength, flexibility, relaxation, all of it.
Absolutely. And you can do it at home, you can do it in the park, you can do it, like I said, in the bedroom. One of the things that I particularly appreciated is that it can be easily practiced while traveling. I travel a fair amount, so have you. And one of the things that we all know is that when we travel, we don't always stay in a hotel with its own gym or exercise room. Even if we stay in some place where there is an opportunity to work out, often it's really tiny room packed with some exercise machines, and all the people who are staying in a hotel are trying to take advantage of it. So basically, it's like so much easier to use our own bodies. And you can do it in the hotel room, you can do it traveling by boat, by plane, by train, anywhere. I've traveled by plane and, for example, done these practices flying over the North Pole. I mean, flying over the North Pole from Moscow, Russia to JFK airport in New York. I actually was practicing this. There was basically like, this is an unlimited opportunity to develop both strength and endurance, which is something unusual among all strength training practices. You can hardly find one that would allow you to develop both strength and endurance in one sitting. Maybe rock climbing.
Right. Yeah, you covered that in the class, and I totally get that. I've been just including the teachings in my own teaching of partner yoga and contact improv. It's really helpful on how to increase the tone and the resistance you have internally before you meet a partner in dance and stretch and strength training together. It's been, yeah, it's expanded my teaching vocabulary and tools that I have to offer.
Well, and one of the things that we study in Academy of Qidao is also Tantric Qigong, where we can do not only push hands or some other dual exercises, but we can also just provide each other resistance. Now, often do people think about it that this actually is a practice where, for example, you can push, I can resist, and I can also push a little bit stronger. So you resist. We develop the ability to move in all different planes of motion. And one person who is either weaker or not as physically developed will actually develop a little bit faster because they're receiving resistance from a stronger partner. Now, the stronger partner may not get much stronger if their partner is not as strong to provide a lot of resistance. So basically, that also creates greater balance between the two partners that are practicing with each other. It kind of suggests that probably they should be more or less in the same weight category. But other than that, basically the sky's the limit when it comes to creativity, how to apply this practice.
Right. And when that comes up for me in partner yoga, I just tell the stronger person to internally turn on and resist yourself to increase that tension and that pressure if your partner is not able to offer you that. So you, like, you know, based on your teachings, like you can just add the resistance yourself.
Absolutely. And there's something that we also do even in the context of contact improvisation. For example, we can create not only soft and very pliable contact point, but it can be stronger. And sometimes the person can lean on you, and so you can provide support. But at the same time, it also can be a fantastic strength training practice. Yeah. Not many people think of it in that way, but when they actually start thinking about it this way, they get a lot stronger.
I love it. Thanks for taking this call. I'm so excited for tomorrow's class and every week and seeing the recordings and continuing to build this practice with you.
Well, absolutely. One thing that I was really curious to see how many people even know about it is how little of our own muscle mass we use when we try to exert some effort. It's like literally when you lift weights, for example, imagine lifting dumbbells or some other weights. And then afterwards, put dumbbell down, relax. You think you're relaxing, but actually there's going to be a band of tight tissue, like a rope inside your muscle. Mm-hmm. Have you ever felt that?
Yeah, totally.
It can be biceps, it can be pecs, it can be trapezius, anything. It can be basically in any muscle group because most of our muscles are not being used more than maybe 10 or 15%. Now, that's a really bizarre thing to use our muscles so little. Kind of similar to what most people are familiar with, the idea that we use our brains only to a small fraction, maybe 10% or less. So right. We're not using ourselves efficiently. No wonder we don't feel very strong because we don't put to good use the resources that we already have. It's just simply they're not in line. Like it's hard to engage the muscle in full expression of its strength if it's not wired properly. And so that's one of the reasons why harmonious strength training is so effective in becoming stronger without bulking up, becoming like a bodybuilder. Because you just simply start using more percentage of your muscles that you already have. You just simply put them to good use.
Totally. And another interesting thing about that is that, a lot of strength training that I'm used to is like going to your max and like, bulking up 100% power and engagement. And the great thing about this harmonious strength training course is that it's teaching me to adjust that and not only be 100% active, but also use my strength at 50% or 30%, being able to adjust that like amount of weight on the fly just adds more flow in my life. Like it's not like all or nothing. Like I'm able to, adjust how much energy and intention and pressure that I'm exerting and offering, and so it really makes life more of a flow of how much strength I'm using and how much energy I'm using and engaged with at any moment.
Absolutely. One of the coolest things about what we're learning is that we learn not only how to tense up, but also how to let go of tension. Letting go of tension is like the practice of Wu Wei in Chinese philosophy, non-doing. Well, how many people actually master non-doing in their lives? singular humans, probably on the entire planet Earth, actually practice doing this consciously. What we learn is how to do this using our own bodies as a metaphor, because we know how to do it with our muscles. We can also do it in other aspects of our lives. For example, reactivity. Like if stress happens, usually it's not just the stressors that stress us out, it's actually how much we react to them. And so if we know how much we react, then we can modulate how much we actually react and maybe even choose not to react and instead respond. And so when we respond to stressors, we become impervious to stress. Basically, we develop resilience. And who wouldn't want that, right?
Exactly. Is there anything else you want to add about the class before we wrap this up? And
absolutely. Well, one of the things that most people are familiar with is the fact that our right side and left side are usually not the same. You're either right-handed, so your right side gets a lot more workout just doing daily routine, or left side if you're left-handed. What happens? Well, this discrepancy between the sides of the body, just like between the front and back also, will cause undue tension, will cause energy blockages. And anyone who's familiar with Oriental medicine knows that energy blockages cause ill health. In other words, we're actually learning how to address the root cause of ill health by making it so that we would not have the blockages. Why do we have blockages? Because there is tension. Why is there tension? The tension is not a sign of strength, it's a sign of weakness. A lot of people confuse tension for strength. They think if I'm tense, it means I'm strong. But actually, it's the other way around. If you're tense, it means you're not functional because your muscles are already operating at the high percentage of their full capacity. So you only have this much room for increasing tension or exerting any more effort. That means that basically you have low functionality. And what we learn is how to become more relaxed. Then we can express our power. And that's something that very few people really understand, that in order to express power, we need to have that room to go from 0 to 100 or from 0 to whatever percentage you choose to. If you don't have that room, if you're already operating at 50%, well, going from 50 to 60 only is 10% of your full capacity. Even if you go from 50 to 100, that's only half as much as you could possibly gain if you go from 0. So basically, it's like simple math, no brainer, but most people don't really think that through. And so they don't really pay attention to how important it is to develop relaxation. And relaxation basically is a result of becoming stronger. So we learn how to become stronger so that we can relax. Paradox, maybe, but it actually makes perfect sense, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's been great. We are going, left and right side and balancing that. And I imagine we're going to be doing a full body. We've started with the upper body and the neck and shoulders. Are we going to be able to get into the legs as well?
We will get to every limb. We will get to a lot of muscles most people don't even know they have in their bodies. A lot of muscles, for example, are in the back. Well, how often do people complain about pain in the back or pain in the neck?
Yeah.
Usually, it's because those weaker muscles are struggling against the stronger muscles of the front. Most people who work out, they pay more attention to the muscles they can see in the mirror, which are in front of the body. And so they give a lot more attention to the pecs, to anterior deltoids, to biceps, to abs, to quads. But very few people give just as much attention to the muscles antagonists. So, for example, rhomboids, or triceps, or lower trapezius, or muscles of the lower back, or hamstrings. It's like, if I don't see it in the mirror, it might as well it doesn't exist. Well, as a result of that, those muscles become less developed as compared to the muscles of the front. When they're less developed, they will hold more tension because they're just fighting for balancing the body. It's like a tug of war going on. If the muscles of the front are stronger, people want, for example, six-pack abs. Nobody wants to have six-pack backs for some reason. So
and everyone ends up punching forward and curling and
yes, the abs are pulling the sternum and the rib cage down. So the muscles of the back actually lost as a game of tug of war, but now they have to work harder because they're working against gravity, because the bone structure, the skeleton, is no longer supporting the torso properly. So the muscles of the back will be operating already at a higher capacity compared to just a regular muscle tone. And so if you just happen to lift anything, you exert more effort with those weaker muscles, they will go into spasm or send signals of alarm to the central nervous system, complaining that they have to work hard, they've been overworked and underpaid. And so that basically creates exactly that signal of pain that we go to doctors and complain about. And the doctors give us painkillers. Oh, your back pain? Your back hurts? Well, take this pill. Well, that's only going to reduce the perception of the signal. It doesn't address the root cause whatsoever. So essentially, that's what we do. We'll address the root causes of ill health, of musculoskeletal pain, misalignments, so that we live our lives more aligned and more fully.
It's very affordable healthcare for sure, this course.
It's like every insurance company should be paying people to attend this course, because you're virtually guaranteed to be healthier and stronger if you do harmonious strength training.
I agree. Thank you, Lama. I really appreciate your time.
You're so welcome. Thank you, Tyler. It's been a pleasure to talk to you today.
You too.
Have a
See you
good one.
online.